There is a reason why there are some analysts that get promoted within a year and others that stay stuck at junior for 5. And it's not SQL, it's not Python, it's not knowing more tools. The difference between a junior data analyst and a senior data analyst is entirely on how they think before they even write a single line of code. And this is actually the stuff that is moving your salary as well. And the problem is that nobody teaches you this. All the resources online will teach you how to use the tools, but nobody teaches you the actual thinking. And this is exactly what this video is about. And here is exactly what I mean. Let's say that your manager comes to you and asks you what is the marketing channel that performs the best. A junior data analyst will collect information about every channel, maybe sorting it by revenue and then send it over and the job is done. A senior data analyst will first of all start thinking, okay, what is it that we actually trying to do here? Are we deciding where to spend more? Are we deciding where to cut? Because for example, if the question is to cut brand ads simply because it looks terrible on revenue, well, you actually need to check one more thing. For example, you can find that 60% of brand ads customers are completely new. And so you can cut that channel and maybe not losing much revenue, but then you might entirely kill the pipeline for the next quarter. So same data, same information, but then one answer get a thanks and another answer saves the company from a bad decision. And that is just one simple example. If we haven't met before, I'm Lorenzo. I worked for AWS, I worked for Deloitte. I've been in data analytics for the past 8 years. And all of this that I'm going to show you in this video comes from real situation, real workplace. And by the way, if you want to go deeper on these topics, not just the thinking, but the full roadmap, all the projects, all the technical skills, all the necessary help to actually land a job offer, then make sure to check out my Analytics and Automation Academy. That is my full mentorship program where I help you on a personalized level until we actually land a job offer. I only work with a few selected people, so if you're interested, make sure to check the link in video description, book a call with me straight away, and join the next cohort that is starting very soon. Okay, so we got 5 concepts to cover in this video. And by the way, concept 4 will be the concept that will change how you present data forever. So let's get into it. Okay, so for this video, I not only want to show you the difference between junior and senior data analysts, how they think differently, but I also want to do it in a very, very practical way. So I prepared this file, which is a Python code that I've opened just now in Google Colab. We're going to use 2 data sets, one for e-commerce orders and one for e-commerce sessions, so that again, you get a practical feeling on, real use cases and the difference between junior and senior data analyst. And by the way, all of these files will be in the video description in case you want to also load them on your side and follow along. At the very start, I'm just doing a quick setup. So I'm importing a bunch of libraries like Pandas, Matplotlib, and NumPy, very famous libraries for data analytics in Python. And then I just load the CSV files and creating orders and sessions, data frame, and then printing a few examples of the data. So we got 8,000 rows for orders, 50,000 rows for sessions, and this is the top of the orders table. So that is how it looks like, a very standard order table with a bunch of order information. And so the first concept that I wanted to show you is what I call here, start with the decision and not the data. So let's say that you have a stakeholder that is coming to you and basically asking to pull some marketing data for them. Now, a junior data analyst will not question this request from a stakeholder and will just start writing a bunch of queries or code to see what the data has to show. And so this could be an example, just counting the orders, having a sum of the order value, and also sorting the orders by the revenue. So if I run this part here, so this is the distinction between channel and then the number of orders and revenue. And so this person might go back to the stakeholder with this simple table, and that's pretty much it. Now, the senior data analyst will immediately stop the stakeholder and ask some follow-up questions, because pulling some marketing data is too generic, definitely. So it is very likely that this person will waste a lot of time with you because the request is not very precise. And so, for example, a decision might be, okay, are we trying to cut any of the channels within marketing? And so this might be a follow-up question that a senior data analyst might need an answer before actually start working on the data. Because if the decision is to, for example, remove some of the marketing channels, then we need, conversion data, we need new customer acquisition and so on. Or another question might be, okay, are we actually trying to see where to bring some of the marketing budget related to all of these channels that we have available? If that is the question, then the metric that you want to check most likely would be a return on investment by channel. And so you see is the same data, but completely different angles that we can take when we look into this data. And so, for example, here I have, okay, should we cut brand ads? Let's look at what it actually does. And so if I run this code in here, then I still have the distinction by channel. I have the total amount of orders and the revenue, but I can also see the customer type. So focusing on new customers by channel, and I can also see the percentage of new customers overall by channel. And so again, same data, but in this case here, I have a bit more granularity on the type of question that we're trying to answer. And so I immediately know where to look in our data. Now, here we are only talking about tables, but obviously we also may want to decide how to visualize this data to make it easy to digest for another person. So here I also have a visual that might be created by a junior data analyst and also a senior data analyst. So if I run this cell in here, I wanted to show you comparison, 101 comparison between the two graphics. And so the junior data analyst might just show you revenue by channel. So, okay, we see that paid search is bringing in more revenue, brand ads comes after, and so on. But actually a senior data analyst may also give you an idea on the percentage of new customers that are coming through the different channels. And so in this case, we have 48, 49, and 50% of new customers coming from channels. So kind of similar numbers, but the senior data analyst decided to focus on this organic channel here specifically, and actually showing that organic is the type of channel that maybe brings in less revenue, but has a higher percentage of new customers compared to the other channels. So main point of this section here is to start with a question that you're trying to answer. Don't just open your data and, present some random findings without having a clear direction. All the time set up the direction with the stakeholder is coming to you to ask some questions. And when that is defined, then you can get on with your analysis, and that will make your life easier and also allow you not to waste time doing analysis that maybe is not needed at all. Now, the second concept that I wanted to cover with you is what I say here, always ask compared to what. So let's say that a stakeholder is coming to us asking to understand what is our return rate. So, whenever there is e-commerce, you might ship some orders and maybe you get some orders in return from the customers. So that would be the return rate. And so again, here, a junior data analyst might run this query here. So if I run here, the overall return rate is 15.6%, and it can go back to the stakeholder with this number. Now, this is technically correct. However, there is no point of reference if this number is good or actually bad. And so if you only give this information to someone, well, it is very hard to take a decision based on that and understand the actual situation. A senior data analyst might actually go extra level and always compare a number with a benchmark, with other segments, and also with time as well. These are 3 dimensions that are very, very common in industry. So if I run this query here that is done by a senior data analyst, the response for a senior data analyst with a very clear point of reference is that, first of all, if for whatever reason we find the return rate to be 12.3%, then we actually see the benchmark in industry. And if we find that the industry benchmark would be 15 or 20%, then it means that our return rate is pretty good. So not only we give a number, well, we actually say, okay, is this number good or not? Also, we might go into the details of, for example, the device. And so we see desktop is 7.7, mobile and also tablet. And so we see that the return rate through mobile is 2 times higher than the desktop. And that might be a user experience problem, but we might already see the problem in our business and then get again to the next step on that. Or potentially we can look at time. So for example, the last month, and pull up all the return rate for the last 6 months, and then maybe see, okay, January 2026, it seems the highest return months compared to the rest. And again, if I can put this into visuals, let me run this code in here. And again, instead of returning one number without a reference point like a junior data analyst, we actually give a clear picture to the stakeholder. And so, for example, we see, okay, our return rate is 15.6%. And that is lower than the industry average, so that's perfect. Then we actually segment our return rate divided by device, and we see that we have a major problem in mobile. And then maybe we can create a line chart with the time as well, and again, see that some months are higher than others. And so potentially the conclusion here is that we don't have a return problem per se, but we have a mobile return problem simply because the rate for mobile is way, way higher compared to other devices. So again, point here is not to give a number on its own without any context. All the time try to see the bigger picture and potentially go deeper into specific segments and dimensions that might give additional information that is super useful for the business. Now, this one is something that really made a difference in, my career, my way of thinking when I started to become more senior in data analytics. And so here the concept number 3 would be thinking distributions and not averages. And so here again, I have a simple query of a junior data analyst that might just check the average order value in our business. And so here, for example, a junior data analyst might calculate the average and be like, okay, the average order value would be $106. That is how things are in our business. The problem with averages is that sometimes they hide a lot of other things that are happening in the business because majority of business data is not normally distributed. Maybe there are outliers. Maybe there is a specific skewness of the data. If you're building all of your decisions based on average, you might miss the full picture. So senior data analyst is actually doing a bunch of more analysis to understand the standard deviation, which basically means the spread over the mean, the skewness of the data, potentially even creating different clusters. So let me run this piece of coding here. And so, for example, here we see a bit of a bigger story. So we have the mean that is 106. We have the standard deviation that is 86. The skewness 0.98. We also have a few clusters. So a cluster of customers under $80, which are 4,000 orders with an average of 39. And then cluster 2 that is $80+ orders with almost 4,000 orders, but then the average would be $178 only for this specific cluster. And so here, for example, we immediately see that we don't have a customer that spends $106. We actually have 2 clusters, and so basically 2 completely different segments in our business. So that is a very, very important distinction here. Again, if I run the visual that will make this a bit more clear to understand, this is kind of like what the junior data analyst might produce with their analysis. So basically saying, okay, the average order value would be $85 or $106. And so, for example, saying that, okay, the mean would be $106. Sorry, there's a mistake in the title, but $106 would be the mean order value, and that's pretty much it. But then this other chart created by a senior data analyst might show a completely different story. So first of all, it will give you an idea on the count of the orders, and basically say, okay, majority of our clients should be in this bucket here. And then even if we show the, let's say the average for all the customers that are actually here in 106, then we can actually use these 2 clusters to understand what is the mean order value for the first cluster that is spending less money. And so the average here would be $39. And then we can see that there is a long tail of customers that are actually spending a lot more money than the first cluster. And then maybe we can, get the mean for this type of customer here that is completely different from the other segment and getting this $178 average. And so again, long story short here is that it doesn't make much sense to combine all customers together in this specific case, because we identify there are 2 different clusters, 2 different segments of customers that should be, not actually put together, but actually kept distinguished so that we can actually make, smarter decision for our business. And so this is where thinking about averages only might, completely lose this full picture, whereas actually thinking in distribution is a way smarter way of thinking about these problems. Now, one more concept that I think will become clear the more analysis you do is actually trying to validate everything that you want to present to a stakeholder before doing so. So, a junior data analyst might run a bunch of analysis and then just go straight to the stakeholder. And actually that might be very painful because, the stakeholder is someone that has some more context on the data, on the business. And so they can break your analysis in a few minutes only. And so, for example, here we are trying to calculate the conversion by category. So this is a query that might be run by a junior data analyst. And so you see conversion rate by category. And so here we have accessories, clothing, electronics, and so on. And for example, if we say, okay, accessories is the one with the bigger conversion rate, that is kind of the insight that we want to go to the stakeholder. And so if I go to our analysis, this can be a junior data analyst script that has been written and basically checking conversion rate by category and seeing that, for example, premium is at the bottom. So, for example, an insight from the junior data analyst should be, okay, let's remove or let's cut premium because we can move the budget traffic elsewhere where the conversion rate is higher. Whereas a senior data analyst might start with this information, but then try to break it and kind of understand, like go against the, let's say, the most immediate assumptions here. And so, for example, running this other query by a senior data analyst, there might be a different level of granularity that we may want to see. And so, for example, checking the conversion by category, but also by customer type. And so dividing new customers and returning customers. And then actually seeing the premium as with the conversion rate of new customers that is actually pretty good and pretty high compared to the rest. Whereas maybe the returning customers are driving the conversion down. And this is the reason why it's at the bottom if we combine all the information together. And so here the insight would be premium is not a low conversion category. Among new customers, it converts 7.97%, which is the second best of all categories. So again, super important granularity level that we discovered just now, because again, it can drive a completely different, the business decision. And so if I also check again our visuals, this might be a visual of the junior data analyst where is basically this person is saying, okay, let's, you see that premium is the lowest one. Whereas if a senior data analyst would do a bit of a split of the data in here, so splitting, red and green, so new customer and returning customers, you would see, actually here's quite covered from the legend, but you basically see that the red bar is the highest compared to the other categories, whereas the green one would actually be pretty low. So again, the message here is definitely go with an analysis that potentially is quite straightforward, but then try to break it yourself to actually see if your analysis holds or not. And then the fifth concept that I wanted to show you is actually what I call communicate the so what, which is obviously also my whole philosophy of this channel as well. That is why it's called loresowhat, because I want to go into the actual practicality of the things that we do. And so, for example, a junior data analyst may see, okay, revenue decline 15%. So, they run this query here by quarterly revenue, and then we see, okay, the revenue is going down. Now, the stakeholder, again, with this information, it doesn't have any, let's say, business decision that they can take because this information is missing the so what. Revenue is down, so what is the next action? And so that is where senior data analysts will give a bit of a clear picture, not only finding that the revenue is down, but then trying to understand, okay, in a very proactive way, what to do next. Not only going to the stakeholder with a problem, but already immediately thinking about a potential solution. And so in here, a bit of a more complex queries that is basically trying to see where is the biggest revenue drop by region and category. And if I see the percentage change, it's kind of immediate to see that Southeast premium is the problem. High value returning customers stop buying. And so a list of recommendation based on this insight where we went a bit more granular level, checking region and category, might be, okay, win back email campaign. We can start a email campaign specifically for this segment that is driving the revenue down. We can also estimate a recovery of this revenue based on the email campaign. We can also estimate the email campaign cost and also the expected ROI. So again, it's going with a problem, but immediately pinpointing where the problem specifically is, and then coming up with the recommendation to actually tackle the problem. And so again, if I show you different visuals of, a output from a junior data analyst, we can see this is simply revenue by quarter. Is down 15% compared to the start. Perfect. That's one type of information. Whereas the senior goes one step further with a proactive approach and precisely showing, okay, where is the major drop, so that we can pinpoint those, in this case, combination between category of products and also the region, the location, and precisely tackle those combinations. And so this is a quick recap of what we've seen. The first thing, start with the decision of the data. The second, compare to what. So you can use a benchmark, segment, and also time to give a bit of more context on what you're trying to explain. Thinking about distributions and not averages, because this can make a big difference, again, giving you the full context of the business. Validate before presenting. So you want to try to break your own insight before you actually go to stakeholders and other people in the company. And then communicate the so what. Don't only stop by showing some numbers and that's it. Use a very proactive approach and actually show what to do next based on the information that you found. And there you have it. These are very, very practical examples on how to actually start thinking like a senior data analyst. If you found at least one useful information in this video, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel so that I can help you even further in the next videos. And if you're interested into having me as your mentor to actually break into the world of data analytics, then definitely apply to my Analytics and Automation Academy. You will see the link in video description. Applications are now open. We're going to talk in a call that you can book with me. And I definitely suggest you to join our upcoming cohort that is starting very soon. Also, I will leave here in the screen some other very practical videos that I've done using SQL and also Python for data analytics. These are projects that you can replicate and add to your portfolios. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao for now and see you in the next one.